There's nothing scary about the woods. Sorry, guys. Or should I say, sorry, kids. I get it. You all saw the Blair Witch Project or read some shitty creepypasta BS online, and suddenly some of the most beautiful places in the world are havens for demons or zombies or whatever garbage is lining in the pockets of writers these days. But guess what? It's only your imagination. Look, I remember being a kid. My mind would go all over the place. Ghosts, goblins, aliens, blah blah blah. You know what happened though? I hit 13. I saw the real world. Here's why I'm so irritated about this I'm so scared to go in the woods now bullshit. I live near a state park. There are quite a few local businesses that used to thrive because of the high number of hikers, picnickers, and day trippers during the spring, summer, and fall. But over the last couple years, perfectly coinciding with those idiot kids one-upping each other to cry about how scared they are, these businesses have lost a ton of money. Yes, I own one of them. An ice cream stand. I could see the trend starting too. Pasty white, black-clad preteens on vacation with their parents would whine about being too frightened to go on a mile-long hike along a pristine trail just because there were spooky trees around, all while shoving ice cream into their soft faces. I thought back on what my father would have done if I complained about being too much of a baby to walk outside for an afternoon. The only ice cream he'd bought would have been for me to put on my black eye. So I've lost money because of this shit. My buddies lost money too. Spouses divorced each other, kids ended up not going to the colleges they wanted to go, and the local economy, aside from the revenue from skiers in the winter, went to hell. And it's all because of those little assholes who think fragile, bleeding, and cowering in fear is more desirable than strength and resiliency. I weep for our future. My ice cream stand is supposed to reopen on March 1st. Already though, I can tell it's going to be a brutal season. The persuasiveness of those online stories about creepy things in the woods and OMG, I can't believe what I found in this diary while I was hiking has just grown and grown. When I look through comments on the ridiculous websites that showcase that trash, I see adults saying how terrified they are to even go out in their backyard because they think some skinny guy in a suit or a troll monster is going to possess them or something. Never once have the authors of that garbage thought how their recklessness is destroying small businesses. Before my wife died, I used to be able to look out from my back porch and see families hiking through the woods, kids skipping stones across the pond, and dads teaching their sons or daughters how to safely build a fire using sticks. Now, there's just timeless woods and a devastated economy. The childish dopes succeeded in scaring themselves away from nature, and they screwed up the livelihoods of real people in the process. Thankfully, every now and then, a family will walk by the house and do things I used to see before that I'm too scared horseshit started. The other day, for the first time in nearly 3 years, a young couple braved the melting snow and mud and set up a tent right on the outskirts of my property. Do you know how happy it made me feel to finally see some people who weren't afraid of ghosts or haunted woods? I must have stayed in the tent until the sun came up, enjoying their warm young meat. The woman died instantly, but her husband or boyfriend or whatever remained alive for hours. The only benefit of such a low population of hikers nowadays is that not a single person heard them screaming as he watched me eat the most tender morsels of his partner before I unleashed my appetite on him. Another bonus, they were in a tent. I just had to wrap it around them and drag them back to my house. No fuss, no muss. After all my complaining, I have to admit, finding 2 people who were brave enough to go out in the woods helped me feel better. It showed me they didn't follow trends and did their own thing, just like in the old days. It doesn't entirely make up for the lost wages and the harm to our local economy, but it's still something. That knowledge, plus a freezer full of meat that'll last me through the spring, helps me warm my cynical heart.